Well, I'm gonna do a 4-year review for you on the Rockwood. We have a Rockwood Mini Lite 2109S. We bought it in October 2016, so 4 years have gone by. And I'm going to go around a little bit. How did it hold up? What broke? What did I fix? Did I do any modifications, that kind of stuff? You know, I'm not big on mods, so you can count on those not being real big. But I think I'll do these in kind of in pieces for you, so it's not one continuous long thing. So we'll just want to do a few things on the outside and just to give you an idea how it's held up. We had rain this morning, so there's some leaves stuck to the place, but do want to show you those things. So let's go through it and try not to drag it out too much for you, okay? So I'll point out a few things that you're probably going to inevitably have happen to you if not. One was the squeegee bar on the handle finally tore, and I just taped it up for now. I got to figure out how I'm going to fix that up. The top of the stairs started to finally rust out a little bit, so I took some black spray paint, some Rust-Oleum, and it held up pretty good. So that was just a spot of it a little bit that was rusting, so I need to hit that again. I'll clean it up. Now tires, our tires have been changed out at just under 20,000 miles. The original tires, Castle Rocks, I replaced them with BF Goodrich tires, and they've done fine. There was no problem with the original Castle Rocks either. Those, I just replaced them because I kept hearing about, oh, China bombs, and I probably could have kept them for another 10,000 miles. I had no issues. They didn't even wear. I'm getting some wearing on the outside of this tire right here, and when they changed out the tires, they lifted it up by the axles, not by the frame, and I've got a feeling they may have bent that axle a little bit. Now, one thing I'll point out is just behind this area, of course, is the kitchen, and we had a lot of dust in our kitchen. So under here, right under here, if you go in, you're going to feel a gap. Now, you could take this whole strip off if you wanted to and seal it that way. I just took some Great Stuff foam expanding spray, and I went underneath that all the way around, and no dust. So those wheel wells were not done very well. You can actually see it on the inside, and I did I think a short video on that. But we haven't had any other issues at all. Lights all work. Nothing has not worked. We did get rid of the original gas grill that came with it. I just didn't like it. It was too big. Number one, that's way too high for me. I felt uncomfortable cooking right next to the camper. So I used the propane hookup for other things. The pass-through, I should have opened that up, but inside, you're going to notice up on the wall, you have, that's where your bed is. And I just took some insulation, I think 1 inch, something like that, and I just cut them with a knife and stuck them up in there just for additional insulation. We did get blown over in the wind, so you're going to notice this guy is bent, but it hadn't come off yet. They work fine. No issues. I'm not going to replace it. You'll notice this one light is different from the other running lights. This one just flew off one day. I don't know why. I could have ordered it online, but I just went by an auto parts store, and I think it was like $2.17 for a couple of them. And you can go into a trailer store, Trailer Supply, Tractor Trailer may have them. That's a big go-to for a lot of people. But you'll notice what I've done, a friend of mine, Greg, and we put a silicone seal around this. Pardon my poor camper's dirty. Just to prevent any leaks, because that one up there did leak, and there was a big hole behind it. I did a video on that, and we caulked or sealed around that on all of these all the way around, and no leaks. Now the windshield did crack on the first trip out that we took. Well, a long one. Went down from Colorado down into New Mexico, Carlsbad Caverns. And it got a couple of chips on it, and I did a video on that too. We put a vinyl covering on it just to keep it from breaking anymore. It was about $800 to have that fixed, and I wasn't going to do it. Sorry. Not with a $500 deductible. So it's still cracked. No big deal. You can't even hardly see it outside. The tongue hitch works real well. No issues with the weight distribution system. This does tend to move on here, and I finally got in and tightened it up more, and it hasn't moved since then. You'll notice I have 2 batteries. I did add an extra battery, and I have solar on the roof, 2 100-watt panels, and I did a video on that too. And it's been a real godsend for us when we go dry camping. It's really great. Let me go around on the other side here. You'll notice this one, I need to tighten it up again. I don't know why it's sure it bent that way. It usually always bends the other way, so I need to tighten that up. Now this outside light worked a time or two, and then I never use it, and one day I checked and it doesn't work at all. So I got a feeling some water got in through here. I need to silicone that. There's a rocker switch on the bottom, which I think has probably gotten water in it, and it's just no good. So other than that, everything, the water heater has worked perfectly, and I've done videos on how you want to take care of that. So no issues there, or with the water system. The only thing that happens every now and then is the water pump backflow valve catches, like it did on the last trip, and when we were hooked up to water, it filled up my fresh water tank. So we're just using the inboard, using the water pump right now and using up the water in the tank. And I actually have more pressure with my SureFlow water pump than I do with the city connection or shore water. I did a video too on the slide out. We had a separation. I think it was pulled in too far, and it put a gap in there. I did a video on that, and just recently I noticed there was still a little crack, so I went on the inside and we put some great stuff running along the track that way. The inside, you'll see, check yours and see if you have a separation there. And that will be good for now. Here's that other wheel well I was talking about. You want to go in here and check this one and grease it up. You can actually get to it easy on the inside as well. There are some gaps on the insides of these flaps right here, and I'm gonna have to just get some blankets or some cut up towels, I think, for the winter, and just stick it in there and keep any drafts out. But other than that, no issues with the slide at all. It's been great. Oh, love having a slide. And no issues at all with any of the plumbing or the dump system. Everything has worked just perfectly. I never used the black flush. I get many reasons, but anyway, I've talked about that before too. The only other thing I did was bent my bumper. And that was at a McDonald's backing up. Oops. And then that was a telephone pole. But it's worked fine to keep me from killing my camper. So you can see I need to clean up where I put silicone around these. Now, just recently, this light has not been, it's been off and on, and what I did is I took the cover off and the bulb was loose. So if one of your lights didn't working, take the cover off and look and see if it's seated well. I think I'm going to have to tighten that up a little bit. So that's a trip around the outside. Now, as far as Rockwood quality, this thing has just been very, very good. I really am happy with it. I think we made a good choice. The awning, you can see I need to get under and clean it again. I did scrape up against some bushes. You can see I got a few scratches there on the side. That was my fault, and I kind of put a little scratch in there, and I've mentioned that a time or two in the videos. So as far as the outside and the structure goes, we're very, very happy. I'm very happy with this. It's a solid unit, and this thing has had a lot of miles on it. I'll post that in somewhere, or I'll tell you about it. I left it inside. And we'll do an inside tour next, and hope that kind of gives you an idea of the quality. Well, I think that was probably about 10 minutes for that exterior, and I'm going to add a bunch of links. So go down in below the video and hit show more, and I'm going to put links in there for you on the things that we did fix up, things that broke, and the solar. I'll put in some of those links for you. I don't want to make this too long, so I noticed it was right at 10 minutes. So I'll do another video on the interior, and when we get a little more light and it's easier to see in there. So I'll go ahead and do that in the next couple of days. We're heading out to another spot tomorrow. So I'll get that in for you, and I hope this helps out. Remember, when you're pulling a camper, it's going through an 8, 9 earthquake every time. So solidity is a big factor. And if you can go over and push in on a wall on a camper and it bends, it's not going to last a long time for long trips off-road. So bear that in mind. As far as the structure on this thing, top notch. I am really, really happy with it. So I'll do an interior video in the next couple days, and I'll put that up for you. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps out in your decisions. Get you a solid unit if you're going to get a truck. If you're going to get a camper truck, well, you need that too. Okay. See you down the road, guys.